Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I am Teena Jha with the news. Over the next 30 minutes, I'll be taking you through the latest news from around the world. First, the headlines this Monday evening. Lalu Prasad Yadav sentenced to 5 years in prison in fodder scam case relating to illegal withdrawals of over 139 crore rupees. Campaigning ends for fourth phase elections in Uttar Pradesh. 60 seats in 9 districts to go to polls on 23rd February. Prime Minister Modi emphasizes on universalization of quality education, says budget will help implement national education policy at grassroots level. French President proposes Putin-BIDEN summit on Russia-Ukraine dispute. Moscow says no concrete plans yet. And Team India climbed to top spot in World T20 cricket after a gap of 6 years. Clean sweep against West Indies in Kolkata cements the position. Details on the headline stories in just a while, but before that, a quick look at some other stories that made news through the day. President Ramnath Kovind conducts naval fleet review off the Visakhapatnam coast in Bay of Bengal. Indian mission in Ukraine asks students and people whose stay is not essential to leave temporarily. India and France agree on roadmap on blue economy and ocean governance, express commitment on marine biodiversity. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to lead parliamentary delegation to United Arab Emirates till the 25th of February. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar holds bilateral talks with his French counterpart Jean-Yves Le Drian in Paris. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi greet the nation on International Mother Language Day. Week-long Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate celebration to start tomorrow from 75 centres along with Mega Science Festival in New Delhi. Section 144 imposed in Shivamogga district of Karnataka after the murder of Bajrang Dal activist on Sunday. AC train supplied by India under $318 million line of credit completes successful trial run in Sri Lanka. And Global Anti-Terror Financing Watchdog FATF begins plenary in Paris. Pakistan under watch for non-compliance. The top story of the day. Former Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Yadav was sentenced to 5 years in jail and fined 60 lakh rupees in a fifth case linked to the fodder scam. The RJD leader was convicted last week in the case involving the illegal withdrawal of over 139 crore rupees from the Doranda treasury. The fodder scam took place in the 1990s when Lalu Yadav was the Chief Minister of Bihar. He was found guilty along with 39 others in the case. Yadav, who is currently out on bail and unwell, joined the court hearing through video conferencing.
ये जो भी था तो पुरानी बात हो गई है, सारा हो गया था, तो पॉइंट ऑफ सेंटेंस सुनाया जाना था, वही है, उनको सेंटेंस सुना दिया गया है, 5 साल की सजा दी गई है और 60 लाख रुपए जुर्माना अनाउंस किया गया है कोर्ट के द्वारा.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the Union Budget for 2022-23 will play a significant role in implementing the national education policy at the grassroots level. Addressing a webinar on the positive impact of the Union Budget, the Prime Minister said the National Digital University will end the problem of shortage of seats for students in educational institutions. He added that educational infrastructure like e-Vidya, One Class, One Channel, Digital Lab, Digital University are all invaluable tools for the youth. Listen in.
स्मार्ट क्लास के द्वारा, एनिमेशन के द्वारा, दूर सुदूर लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन के द्वारा, या हमारी जो नई कल्पना है कि 1 क्लास 1 चैनल, गांव तक हम अच्छी क्वालिटी की शिक्षा का प्रबंध कर सकते हैं. बजट में इसका प्रावधान है.
And Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Monday addressed a post-budget discussion in Mumbai. She expressed confidence that the budget proposals for infrastructure will have a qualitative impact on the economy, adding that the government is looking at digital solutions in the fields of education and agriculture.
This budget aims at giving a blueprint for the next 25 years. A blueprint was given last year. In continuation with it, we want to expand it to mean that the Amritkal of India will be the next 25 years leading towards India at 100. And India at 100, all of us have a dream of what it should be, what India should have as its endowment, how our youth, today's youth, moving towards their 20 plus 25, will have an India which they can be happy and proud about living in.
In news from the states, in Mumbai, BMC officials inspected a bungalow owned by Union Minister Narayan Rane for alleged violation of coastal regulatory zone norms. The officials took photographs and measurements of the bungalow besides checking the documents. Andhra Pradesh Industries and Information Technology Minister Mekapati Gautam Reddy passed away after a heart attack in Hyderabad. He was 50 years old. He had recently returned to Hyderabad after attending the Dubai Expo. The Trinamool Congress expelled over 150 party workers for indulging in anti-party activities in the civic polls, and they contested as independents. The expulsions are all from the North 24 Parganas district. On Sunday, the party had expelled 61 workers. West Bengal Cabinet Minister Sadhan Pandey passed away on Sunday after a prolonged illness. He was 71 years old. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and other leaders condoled the death in Kolkata. Polling will be held in 108 municipal bodies of West Bengal on 27th February. Electioneering is at its peak in the state, with both BJP and Trinamool Congress candidates holding door-to-door campaigns. In Gujarat, all schools have reopened. The guidelines regarding COVID-19 are being strictly enforced. Wearing masks has been made mandatory for students. Also, schools from classes 1 to 12 reopened in Goa. Uniforms, however, are not mandatory at the moment. There was much enthusiasm among the students who returned to classes nearly 2 years after the COVID-19 pandemic. Schools also opened in Jammu for students of classes 1 to 8. Attendance was low on the first day. School management said, along with enforcing COVID protocols, health of the children will also be monitored. Visitors to the Jagannath Temple in Puri, Odisha, no longer need to show RT-PCR test or vaccination certificates. The administration has started enforcing the exemption to the devotees that was announced a few days ago. And news now from poll-bound states. Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah addressed public meetings in Pilibhit and Sitapur in Uttar Pradesh. He said there is a wave in favor of the party due to the work done by the BJP government towards law and order, also welfare of the poor and the youth. He asserted that by the 7th stage, this wave will turn into a tsunami. Listen in.
मोदी जी ने गरीबों का जीवन ऊपर उठाने का काम किया। 70 साल तक ये सपा बसपा कांग्रेस पार्टी राज करते रहे। कभी गैस का सिलेंडर कोई गरीब के घर में नहीं पहुंचा था। आज 7.5 साल के अंदर 1,67,00,000 माताओं के घर में गैस का सिलेंडर पहुंचाने का काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने किया।
Congress Party interim president Sonia Gandhi addressed voters in Raebareli. She accused the BJP of not effectively responding to the challenges of the COVID pandemic. She also went on to claim that the Congress has a vision of new politics in Uttar Pradesh.
युवाओं को रोजगार, महिलाओं को अधिकार, किसान बहनों भाइयों को सुविधाएं देने का और आम जनों को महंगाई से निजात दिलाने की योजना है। हमने महिलाओं के लिए शक्ति विधान, युवाओं के लिए भर्ती विधान और उत्तर प्रदेश के विकास के लिए उन्नति विधान तैयार किया है।
Campaigning, meanwhile, has intensified for the Manipur Assembly elections, with women taking the lead in raising some critical issues. 265 candidates are in the fray for the state elections, but only 17 of them are women. Women leaders in the state are demanding reservations for women to bring about a balance in political participation. Incidentally, Manipur has more women voters than men. In some other election news, Union Minister Anurag Thakur questioned the Samajwadi Party's electoral claims in Banda. He said the party will not be able to cross even the 100 mark in Uttar Pradesh. He also predicted that after the results are declared on 10th March, the Samajwadi Party will blame its defeat on EVMs. Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav told a rally in Hardoi that the electoral contest this time is between the BJP and the people. He claimed that in each phase of election, voters are defeating the BJP by more votes than the previous phase. Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra held a roadshow in Lucknow. Appealing for votes for her party, she distributed wristbands to girls and women that said, "Ladki hoon, lad sakti." While Congress leader Rahul Gandhi targeted the BJP in Imphal, he said the BJP needs lessons in humility. He appealed to the voters to question the government while accusing the ruling party of failure to keep its promises. Addressing an election rally in Hardoi, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath asserted that the BJP has been a true companion of the people in happiness and also in times of sorrow, accusing the opposition of false propaganda. He asserted that the people are blessing the party. Aam Aadmi Party's convener and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal targeted the BJP as well as the Congress at an election rally in Lucknow. He also hit out at his former party colleague Kumar for his remarks against the party. Samajwadi Party declared Pragatishil Samajwadi Party Chief Shivpal Yadav as their star campaigner for the remaining phases in UP. Others in the list are Mulayam Singh Yadav, Akhilesh Yadav himself, Dimple Yadav and also Swami Prasad Maurya. Union Ministers Bhupendra Yadav and Sarbanand Sonowal campaign in the Bagai and Thanga Assembly constituencies of Manipur. The Chief Minister was also present at the flag hoisting ceremony of the BJP candidate. And time for a short break here, but coming up on the other side, young Indian Grandmaster Pragnandha beats world champion Magnus Carlsen. Details on that story after the break.
What are the benefits and risks of deposit insurance?
Small depositors will have confidence in the banking system. It is these small depositors who suffer the maximum.
It's a very elaborate mechanism which has been put in place in the country over the years. So far, it was only for the commercial banks, but now it will be for the cooperative banks also.
We all know the importance of good health, but often we don't know how to achieve it. There's plenty of information available, but again, we don't know what is right and what is wrong. To know the truth and get your answers straight from some of India's top specialists, join me, Dr. Amrish Mithal, on Healthy India, only on Sansad TV.
What is India's perspective on global issues? How is India navigating its bilateral and multilateral relations? How do we decode foreign policy? And what is the impact India is having on the world? For an in-depth analysis of international affairs, watch Diplomatic Dispatch with me, Vikas Baru, only on Sansad TV.
Those in favor, please say aye. जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, I think the ayes have it. हवालों के पक्ष में ayes have it. The bill is passed.
Thanks for staying with us on the news. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla is leading a parliamentary delegation to the UAE from 21st to 25th of February. It is the first ever visit under the bilateral exchange of parliamentary delegations from either side. During their visit, the Indian delegation will meet their host, Sakhar Gobash, Speaker of the Federal National Council of UAE. They will also call on Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. The Lok Sabha Speaker will also have the rare honour of addressing the Federal National Council of the UAE on Tuesday. And news now from around the world. The US President Joe Biden has agreed in principle to hold a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss the crisis over Ukraine. In a statement, the White House said the talks proposed by France will only take place if Russia does not invade its neighbor. More details in this report.
The United States has told the United Nations that it has credible information that Russia has lists of Ukrainians to be killed or sent to camps in the event of an invasion. The concerns conveyed to the UN rights chief comes amid reports of a US-Russia summit proposed by French President Macron in 2 phone calls to the Russian president. Kremlin has said that the proposed interaction between Putin and Biden could be a call or meeting, but there were no concrete plans yet for a summit. It also rebutted reports that Russia is drawing up lists of Ukrainians to capture or kill after an invasion. Ukraine said that it hopes the proposed summit between Biden and Putin can be implemented and that Kiev can join the meeting. Meanwhile, sporadic shelling across the line dividing Ukrainian government forces and pro-Russian separatists in the east intensified in recent days. Leaders of the European Union have expressed concern, asking Russia to come to the negotiating table. Russia has amassed more than 150,000 troops close to Ukraine's borders, according to the USA. It says new satellite imagery showed multiple new field deployments of armored equipment and troops from Russian garrisons near the border with Ukraine. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
At least 16 people were killed as Storm Eunice carved a deadly trail across Europe. Deaths were reported in Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Poland, the Irish Republic and the UK as fierce winds felled trees and sent debris flying. Millions of homes and businesses lost power across Europe and transport networks were left in disarray. The Dutch Coast Guard is trying to locate 26 empty shipping containers lost in the North Sea. Gusty winds of more than 200 kilometers per hour were recorded on Friday. 4 people died in the Netherlands, all hit by falling trees, and 4 more were killed in Poland. About 30 people in northern France were injured in storm-related road accidents. Ethiopia has started generating electricity from a controversial mega dam being built on the Blue Nile. On Sunday morning, one of the 13 turbines of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam started power generation. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said it will be Africa's largest hydroelectric dam when it is completed in 3 years. With a 6,500 megawatt capacity, the dam is a source of water-sharing tensions between Ethiopia, Sudan and Egypt. Egypt fears the project will reduce its share of Nile waters. In some more global updates. International tourists are arriving in Australia after it removed many of the COVID restrictions for the first time in almost 2 years. Australia had enforced some of the most severe pandemic measures of any democracy in the world. Jubilant well-wishers greeted vaccinated travellers at Sydney's airport by waving toy koalas and their favourite foods. The tourism department expects it will take a while to get tourist levels back to pre-COVID levels. Queen Elizabeth II has tested positive for COVID-19. The Buckingham Palace said she is experiencing mild cold-like symptoms and will continue with light duties at Windsor Castle over the coming week. It also added that the 95-year-old British monarch will receive medical attention and follow all appropriate guidelines. The Queen has received 3 jabs of the coronavirus vaccine. Both her eldest son, Prince Charles, and daughter-in-law Camilla Duchess of Cornwall recently contracted COVID-19. Charles has since returned to work. Nepal witnessed protest against a contentious $50 million aid grant from the US outside the legislature on Sunday. Police beat the protesters with batons and also fired tear gas and water cannons, leaving injuries on both sides. Opposition to the grant comes from the communist parties that are part of the coalition government. They claim the agreement will threaten Nepal's sovereignty by bringing US soldiers to the Himalayan kingdom as part of America's Indo-Pacific strategy. A survivor was rescued on Sunday morning from a still-burning passenger ferry in Greece. 11 people are still missing from the Euroferry Olympia. The Italian-owned ferry was carrying over 290 passengers and crew, as well as 153 trucks and 32 cars, when it caught fire on Friday on the way to Brindisi in Italy. Nearly 280 people were evacuated to the nearby island of Corfu. One rescued passenger wasn't on the ship's manifest and was presumably a migrant. Donald Trump's new social media venture, Truth Social, launched in Apple's App Store, potentially marking the former president's return to social media after he was banned from several platforms last year. The app was available to download shortly before midnight and was automatically downloaded to App Inc. devices belonging to users who had pre-ordered the app. Some users were added to a wait list with a message, "Due to massive demand, we have placed you on your wait list." And now over to all the action from the world of sports. India coasted to a series-sweeping 17-run win over the West Indies in the third and final T20I played in Kolkata on Sunday. Sent in to set a target, India put on 184 for 5 with 86 runs in the last 5 overs. Kumar Yadav made a 31-ball 65 and was well supported by all-rounder Venkatesh Iyer, who scored 35 off 19 balls. West Indies wicketkeeper Nicholas Puran's innings scored 61, but it was not enough as the Caribbeans ended up 167 for 9. India's 3-0 series sweep over West Indies at home has taken Rohit Sharma's side to number 1 on the ICC T20I team rankings. India went past England to the top spot, with Pakistan, New Zealand and South Africa rounding off the top 5. India's lead, though, is a slender one. Across the 39-game period in the current ranking cycle, India and England are tied at 269 points. India are fractionally ahead by virtue of having more points, 10,484 to England's 10,474. Promising young batsman Yash Dhul made a dream first-class debut with centuries in each innings of the Ranji Trophy match drawn between Delhi and Tamil Nadu. Dhul became only the third Indian to score centuries in both innings on Ranji Trophy debut, along with Nari Contractor and Virat Sweth. Dhul is only the 9th batter in first-class cricket to score a century in each innings on debut. The 19-year-old slammed 113 each in both innings. From cricket, let's now move to hockey. Hockey India named a 22-member Indian women's hockey team for the FIH Women's Hockey Pro League matches at home in Bhubaneswar, Odisha against Spain. The matches will be held on 26th and 27th of February. In the absence of Rani Rampal, the team will be led by ace goalkeeper Savita, while Deep Grace Ekka will be the vice-captain. Promising forward Sangeeta Kumari from Jharkhand has been drafted to the senior team after impressing for the junior side. And moving now to chess, young Indian Grandmaster R. Pragnandha stunned world champion and world number 1 Magnus Carlsen in the 8th round of the Athens Masters, an online rapid chess tournament. Pragnandha won with black pieces in 39 moves in a Tarrasch variation game to halt Carlsen's run of 3 straight wins. The Indian Grandmaster lies in joint 12th spot after 8 rounds with 8 points. His spectacular win over Carlsen comes after a moderate run in the earlier rounds, which included a solitary victory over Lev Aronian, 2 draws and 4 defeats. Let's now talk about football. Manchester United recovered from conceding 2 goals in the space of a minute to run out 4-2 victors against Leeds United in a pulsating Ellen Road encounter. Goals from second-half substitutes Fred and Anthony Elanga proved decisive for United, who secured an important 3 points in their pursuit of a top 4 place. Leeds United had recovered a 2-goal deficit after first half goals from Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes. Pierre Aubameyang scored a hat-trick as Barcelona claimed a convincing 4-1 win at Valencia, lifting his side to 4th place in La Liga. It was the 8th, 9th and 10th goals of the season for the former Arsenal striker. Frenkie de Jong also scored for Barcelona, while Carlos Sola netted a consolation goal for the locals. Barcelona now have 42 points from 24 games, tied with Atletico, who are 5th on goal difference. And before we end the bulletin, a quick relook at the headlines. Lalu Prasad Yadav sentenced to 5 years in prison in fodder scam case relating to illegal withdrawals of over 139 crore rupees. Campaigning ends for 4th phase elections in Uttar Pradesh, 60 seats in 9 districts to go to polls on 23rd February. Prime Minister Modi emphasizes on universalization of quality education, says budget will help implement national education policy at grassroots level. French President proposes Putin-BIDEN summit on Russia-Ukraine dispute. Moscow says no concrete plans yet. And Team India climbed to top spot in World T20 cricket after a gap of 6 years. Clean sweep against West Indies and Kolkata cements its position. Well, so that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks very much for your time.